Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to We Are Broken. Hey there, guys, this is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke. That was a strange order. But, yeah, this is kind of last minute. I'm actually recording this, like 4 in the morning on Halloween, so I figured, hey, I've heard about this game, and I downloaded it, and I played it, and I figured, might as well play it for you guys. That'd be kind of fun. I kind of miss playing sort of spooky games, and it's been a while since I've done a Let's Play, so... Filter, I don't know what that is. Oh. Okay. But... So... I think they're gonna give you a background, so... Or maybe not, but... Yeah, there are these 3 people, Nikos, Carl, and Ruby. And you are captured by a group of vampires, and your goal in this game is to basically not crack. So, start with Nikos.
Hello, human meat. Shall we start? Are you comfortable?
So, yeah, and you're supposed to kind of pick, and yes, I am going to VO Smith, because it's fun. That's another reason why I wanted to play this, but you got your meter up here. So, you're going to try and get this all the way to Unbreakable, because we are strong-willed. We can't be demoralized by poopy vampires. I assume she's poopy. I don't know if she might be having diarrhea. I don't know. No. But, yeah, so, let's see. Start what?
Our conversation, of course. I heard stories about you, and I want to know everything you have to tell me. The matter is the following. You will tell me where your friends hide, under which rock these insects sleep. I don't have too much patience, Nikos, so I'll cut to the chase. If you don't speak, one of the other 2 will. One of them may even resist and keep quiet, but one of you is going to break. So how about you do it? Before I start hurting you. It sounds great, doesn't it? Where is the resistance?
Do your worst, monster.
I'm not a monster. I am the next step in evolution. Humans are the past.
You can see she's kind of getting a little pissed off. It's all about picking the right word. This is very much a game of just mental battles and how you can use words to defeat your opponent, as it were. Yeah, you know, it's not a Tasuke Let's Play if I'm not being philosophical.
You are the primates that had to die so society could evolve. But if you don't want to tell me now, fine. Let me tell you a story I heard somewhere around. There was a man and a woman, married, no children. They lived happily, ruddy faces and full bellies.
Or Rudy face, I don't know. Some words I don't know.
Until it came the end of the world for them. She sacrificed herself for him to survive. I even heard that she tasted so good that it was like eating dessert. But the man lived, although embittered and lonely. Is this story familiar to you?
See, if we say this, he's going to be like, ha ha, I got you. Just be quiet. Be quiet, please.
You don't ignore me, Nikos. I have no patience for this. You will open your mouth if not to answer me, then to scream in pain.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Your wife, what was her name? It doesn't matter. I'll just call her Dessert. So, your wife, Dessert, let herself be devoured for you to live, and now you're here trying to sacrifice yourself for a bunch of worms? Can't you see how this makes her death in vain? I promise you one thing, Nikos. If you tell me now where those rats are, I will change you into one of us myself, and we will go there and have dinner together. How does that sound?
This one I actually do remember. Her name was Barbara. This is what you're supposed to say.
Exactly, it was. As far as I know, not even her bones were left, so tasty Dessert was.
Kind of implying that she's the one who ate her. I think.
Is your flesh and blood as tasty as your wife's, Nikos? I can't stop thinking about it. I wonder if there is someone in your hideout who's an unique banquet. Aren't you curious? Have you ever thought about trying the meat of your own brothers? I can help you with that.
You can devour me right now. Okay, click, please. Thank you.
It would be delicious, but the same way you have your leader, I also have mine. And she wouldn't be happy if I did it before you tell us your secret. I have to admit that I thought you would break more easily. Take this conversation would be faster. I was about to say, take this conversation for example, like, well, obviously. Behind all this pain, you hide an admirable strength. But won't the pain outgrow your strength? I don't feel pain anymore. You can't lie to me, Nikos. The truth is imprinted in your eyes. Yeah, that's true. This is tough. But at the same time, it didn't do anything, so it's one of those... Which I guess makes sense because, like, even if he is lying, there's no... It's one of those things where, like, okay, well, I guess she technically doesn't know. When the time comes, you will beg me to kill you and end your suffering. And I am generous, Nikos. But only to those who are generous to me. Are you ready for such generosity? Are you ready for such generosity?
Okay. Let's see. See, I feel like if I say this, it's be like, I miss her. Let's go for it.
She must have been, to give up her own life to let scum like you survive. You know, Nikos, when you become a vampire, you get famished for a long time. No meat is enough to satisfy you. No blood is sweet enough. A few days after my transformation, I was hunting with other vampires. We cornered a family in a small house in the suburbs. When we entered the house, starving like dogs, an old man ran toward us and kneeled, begging for mercy for his family. He had locked his wife and children in the bedroom in the back, hoping his own flesh was enough for our hunger. We devoured him right there.
Nani?
As soon as the screaming, the bone cracking, and flesh tearing sounds gave room for silence, we saw the man's children leaving the bedroom. Change us into vampires, the teenager said.
Trying to laugh like a girl.
Check that out. Check that out. The offspring of our prey were there, asking to become one of us. Do you know what we did, Nico?
Why are you telling me this? I feel like this is one of those games where you kind of have to... You have to know people relatively well, I think, or you have to be perceptive, I guess. Let's see. Kill them. Why are you telling me this?
I'm getting there. Why all the impatience if you have nowhere else to be? We were so hungry and they seemed so succulent. It was a banquet indeed. But what matters here is the old man, you know. He sacrificed himself for his children and they didn't even care. His blood hadn't even run off my mouth when they came asking for our power. The man's sacrifice was for nothing, just like your precious dessert. Sacrifices are not that worthy, Nikos, because life is not that worthy.
His children were fools. I will honor her. Yeah, obviously you don't want to say this because if you're saying, her name was Barbara,
I've broken you.
You know, it's one of those things. But, let's see. I'm certainly glad the game's not going to be like, you're taking too long, you're losing morale. These children were fools. She might... Let's stay on topic.
There was no way they could guess our hunger. Sorry, I stammered. Your story can be different from those children, Nikos. I'm offering you the chance to become powerful, as no human ever could ever be. If you join us, at least your wife's death will still have some meaning. But if you die here, all of it will be... But if you die here, all of it will have been in vain, and you will be nothing but meaningless bones.
So I choose the bones.
Meaningless bones? Is that your wish? There's nothing else I can do. If you're willing to make a sacrifice for the Resistance, just like your wife sacrificed herself for you, I read that wrong, but I'll take it. You are unbreakable, Nikos. It will be a pleasure to kill you now.
Yeah, basically we won. Let's see, farewell. Oh, fuck. Farewell, my friends. May something not reach you. This is an itch.io game. But yeah, so we beat that one. She's actually relatively easy. I actually think the middle guy's tough. The third one, I actually think, mainly, I don't know. That one I feel like it's a little more cut and dry, and you'll see why once we get there. So you'll have to forgive me if I tend to kind of linger on the middle person. I generally had a rough idea of how to handle the woman. So Nikos, he got eaten. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of trouble with the game kind of stuttering pretty hardcore, and had to restart my computer a couple of times because everything was just screwed up. Audacity wasn't working. Had to delete some files, old video files, to make more space. Just a bunch of stuff was going on. But hopefully things will be working now. This is like the 5th time I've tried to record this, so. But anyway, we're on to Carl now. Don't cry, my son.
May the night be a long one, my lad. Do you hear the darkness calling? The calling, my lad. The voice in the shadows that calls your name and cries out for freedom. My little Carl, I've been sent here to interrogate you about the impure human resistance, but as soon as I saw you, I knew you were different. You are like me, Carl. You are foreordained. In your future, I see an acolyte of the darkness.
And that's this guy's thing. Like the chick last, she was kind of more about demoralizing and then sort of like trying to get us to join them. This guy, he jumps right in with having us join him. Now, because I've already recorded a good chunk of this, I actually do kind of know how to beat this guy. Admittedly, I didn't really know. I do think he's probably the hardest between the three of them. And quite frankly, I think the chick is probably the easiest. Besides the guy after this guy, because I kind of know how to work with him since I don't know, for some reason I remember that one more than any other.
What do you say, my lad? Will you kneel before the darkness and allow it to embrace your heart?
What are you talking about? Wait a minute.
About your purpose, my lad. You have the potential to become a reverend.
I don't know why I struggled with that word for... And sorry if I'm a little sniffly at this point. Some time has passed since these two recordings. Not an entire day's worth, but you know.
To become a reverend of the night, a minister for the purest being. To become one of us. I was told about your siblings. 7, isn't it? And you're the oldest child in a family with no parents. I'm sorry for that, my lad. Growing up without someone to show you the right way is a nightmare. Why am I struggling? That's why I'm here. Now everything is going to be fine. All you need to do is tell me where the resistance hides so we can save your siblings. Don't you want to save them?
Now here, I'm going to pick I can't.
Of course you can, Carl.
You see I kind of went up. And it's because it's this weird thing where like you kind of do like some self-pity thing. And the reason why that works, as far as I understand, is that you're kind of shifting the conversation a little bit. And in some situations, you could make your opponent feel bad for you. That's not necessarily going to work. I say opponent, but you know who I mean. Your interrogator or whoever you're talking to in the situation. Yeah, I know it's not like I said before, it's not a Tasuke Let's Play without me getting philosophical about something. Of course, the Dark Souls one, I don't recall getting... That was almost more of like a, this is what I'm up to kind of thing. This is more of like the Dragon Ball the Legacy of Goku games and the Crooked Man were probably the most philosophical. So it is kind of good to come back to this, but
With you on our side, your siblings would be the most welcome to our cause. Sorry, I have a stutter. If you value the resistance more than the well-being of your family, you're not as loyal as you think. You're not the only one being interrogated at the moment, Carl. There are 2 other friends of yours being questioned by less complacent vampires than me. One of them is going to talk, and when it happens, a massacre in the impure human hideout is going to be inevitable. So your siblings will cease to be blessed children and become open carcasses, half devoured. Unless you speak first, Carl, help me purify your siblings in the faith of the darkness.
yeah, like technically only 2 remaining, because if we're going on the lore of my playthrough, one Nikos has already been consumed by Lady, but you don't talk here.
Maybe the problem is to go to the side of the vampires. Is that it?
And in some situations, it's better just to stay quiet.
I understand you don't like us because of the death of your parents. It may be hard to understand, but we all had parents once too, and mine are also gone. It's desperate to be alone.
Like, see, here he's trying to kind of get in your head and be all like,
Listen, I know what it's like to be in your situation. Without a hand to guide you through the darkness of the world. That's why darkness itself shall be your guide. You don't need to hate vampires just because they killed your parents. You must understand, it wasn't personal. We do what the darkness tells us to. You don't need to have the same fate of your parents, Carl. You don't need to let go of your siblings.
Shit.
I'm starting to think you want to die like your parents. You want to get rid of the responsibility of being the oldest one, don't you? I'm sorry, Carl, but I think you're better than that. I think you can hear darkness calling you, and you refuse to take the calling because you are scared. You're old enough to remember how things were before the first great night.
Yeah, this guy's kind of tricky because you need to figure out, like, when do you talk? And then, if you talk now, what do you say? I feel like that's sort of the challenge here, whereas the woman beforehand, it was more like, I'd have to look back, but I don't know, for some reason, this guy and the guy after are the ones, the woman, because I actually saw this on a YouTube video. I don't remember, I was looking up, like, scary games, and y'all know how I like vampires, so Vampire the Masquerade 2 is coming out, and I think there's actually a visual novel coming out. Maybe I'll let's play that later on. I've got a couple things I gotta do first.
You know humans are just selfish and mean as the worst vampires. So I ask you, did you think through about what you're doing, Carl? To whom do you owe so much loyalty? To the Resistance or your siblings?
I can't betray the
Let's see.
Can't betray the Resistance. I'm gonna be quiet. Okay, can you...
If this is how you want it, then all I have left is to bless you. May the blood of your wounds purify you. And the pain bring you peace in the darkness.
That's also one thing about him, is that he hits twice.
Did you hear that? The voice of darkness is calling you. Yes, I know you've heard it. I can see it in your eyes. Isn't it lovely? I remember the first time I heard it too. I remember the despair I felt when I realized that all of my existence was useless, and that all of us are just moving bags of flesh. Humans and vampires, that we have in common. Just flesh.
Sorry that I'm not doing so well with the readings. I don't know what happened. I was doing well earlier. Now, granted, like I think I said this before, this voice is kind of killing my throat. I have a I have a Fanto with me though that'll totally help. But the voice in the darkness gave me a mission. I heard its calling, its request for blood, its clamor for death. Listen. Listen to the voice of the darkness, my young acolyte of the night. Listen and tell me what it says. I'm going to say famine, because one, that's what I chose before, and two, I feel like that's kind of fitting given this whole vampire thing. Is it the famine that afflicts you? You should have told me sooner. The darkness wants you to try the flesh of the impure and drink the blood of their allies. Carl, my little Carl, now there's no way back. You'll want to separate yourself from the impure, from the humans and their insignificancies, from the selfishness, the hatred, the pride, the grief, the anguish, the fantasticism, the indifference, the impotence. Why am I struggling with that word? Impotency, the humiliation, the dread, the greed, the suffering, from all the bad feelings that humans cause to their own race, from all the evil they have done to thee. Come, embrace the darkness, embrace the abyss. Those sins are. I remember choosing this one, but fuck it. I understand, but there are no sins here. On this side, there is only pleasure. It's the purest existence a person could ever have, free from the rotten feelings that have corroded mankind since forever. Yeah, I actually kind of got lucky there, because I know, like, spoiler alert, but before you make your final decision, he's going to hit you again. Gaze at my vision, you and your siblings together again, a family reunited and bound together forever by the ties of the shadows. Together you devour what's left of the resistance. Together you end the last part of a society that doesn't deserve to exist. Together you feed on the meat of those that have mistreated you. You are greater than the humans could ever be. You are gods, pure beings that live only for the jubilation of seeing open carcasses. See, I think I chose this, but he's like, no, fuck you. But I almost think that this is the right thing to say, but I don't want to risk it because I know, like, we'll be here, it's going to go to here, and then it's going to go to here, so, like, what'll probably happen, I don't know. I'm going to go for it. Or the sweetness of the dreams. You only need to learn how to appreciate it. Actually, I got lucky there. I got lucky twice here. Shit. This is my last offer, Carl. You must decide between dying while abandoning your family or embracing the abyss, and accepting your destiny to become a herald of the eternal night. You know what is at stake. What do you choose? I might have gotten confused because I'm pretty sure it's well, you have to bear with sort of the stuttering a little bit too. I try to set it up to where, like, fraps will, like, cut at certain intervals, so hopefully that'll help. But if I need to, I can just, like, set up a whole another recording session. I guess. I will not abandon anyone. I'm gonna choose that one, even though that might hurt us. You also have to forgive my mouse, how it's You have already. Yeah, I think that's what I chose before, because I remember. But yeah, we pretty much destroyed him. Your loyalty to the Resistance is indeed admirable, but it's a pity you've chosen incorrectly. You could have been a god, but you'll just be a corpse. Okay. Stay well, my family. Don't listen to the voices. That's Carl's voice. Alrighty. Cue. Alrighty. But anyway, let's go to Ruby now. Oh boy.
Well, well, well. What a coincidence. The most rotten smuggler I've ever met. I hope you feel uncomfortable being strapped like this. Tell me, Ruby, do you regret having done this to my eye?
I think all of these are basically gonna fuck me up either way, so...
So I'll teach you to regret, you human bastard! By the end of this interrogation, you'll have changed your opinion. I hate humans, you know. If it were up to me, If it were up to me, we wouldn't even eat your foul flesh. I'd rather eat other animals. But orders are orders, and I was told to take information from you. So that's what we're doing, Ruby. If you don't cooperate, it'll get complicated on your side. You must understand that, to me, watching you suffer is pure fun. Now tell me, where is the resistance?
It is up your coochie cooch, or your anus rather.
Rude! You are indeed the most rotten insurgent we've captured.
I almost said you have... See, that's what happens sometimes. I'll end up talking over myself. I'm actually having to record this using OBS because Fraps just didn't want to cooperate, so hopefully this doesn't mess stuff up too badly. I apologize if it does, but I'm gonna try.
Come on, Ruby. You've done this before. Selling humans used to be your way of living. The situation now is the same. You need to survive, and there are hundreds of humans to be sold. Tell me your price so we can get into an agreement.
Now, I want to be funny and say I want a video game, but I also don't want to... Give me your other eye. I don't do that no more.
Oh yeah? Old habits never die, Ruby. You know that your past condemns you. It wasn't that long ago when you sold us humans and now you act like you forgot about it. Here we recall it with affection. You brought many meals to our colony, Ruby. Dozens of men and women that fed us for years. Even I used to say you were almost worthy of trust despite being human, but you abandoned it all for the resistance. What a disappointment. You have no idea how it pissed off our leader. You turned into the colony's enemy number one. And why? Because you betrayed us, Ruby. You're a professional betrayer. It's time to betray again. Where are your human friends?
Let's see. And this guy's tricky because he actually has a legit bias. Like the other two, they were just eating and trying to, do their thing. But this guy actually legit doesn't like us.
I am one-eyed, but I am not blind. I can see old Ruby still in there. All you need is a little push. Just a little push.
I hear that song a lot.
You don't have to regret the things you've already done. I know you've had a tough childhood and nobody trusted you. I know you've been through things that no other human is capable of understanding since we, vampires, arrived. I know you've lost the little one you had and got nothing from the other selfish humans until you found a way to survive. I know that you captured, smuggled, and sold over 600 people since you were 14. I know all that, Ruby. You did what you had to. I understand. It's better than your human friends.
Oh.
I understand it better than your human friends. And that's why I know it's time for you to fight for your survival instead of keeping a fake loyalty to some fake humans.
Milo. It's time for you to shut up. So what?
No. This conversation is not over, and you still have a lot to learn. It's too arrogant of you to act like you have changed. You haven't changed, Ruby. You are incapable of changing, and it's not your fault. All of you despicable humans are incapable of changing, and there is no point in struggling against your nature. You must embrace it, and you, Ruby, are a heartless, selfish traitor. Take it.
The resistance made me better.
Oh, come on. No, the resistance is limited you to be like them. It hinders you from being who you really are. You act like you were somebody else. It looks like you've forgotten all you've done, so I'll remind you.
You act like you were someone else. It looks like you've forgotten all you've done, so I'll remind you. I'll never forget that time when you brought those orphans. Do you remember? You would drive around in that truck, giving rise to lost souls. Who would suspect you so young and so innocent? But when they slept next to you, they stopped being passengers and became cargo. Isn't that right? You said your record was 34 people, yes? Let's see. It was always such a joy when you got here with a load like that. I was a different person. This is gonna hurt me. Yep, you are the same person you've always been, Ruby. The human flesh smuggler and the woman that made me one-eyed today are the same person. Both did what they did for surviving. You haven't changed a bit. It doesn't matter if you think that doing good deeds can change who you are. After you brought humans, the party would start. It's an easy life having someone always feeding you. Some of us became real lazy and even stopped going out to hunt, but it's understandable. After experiencing the feasts you provided, it's likely anyone would get used to that life. You started that, and even today, some vampires train humans to be just like you were. I must confess, none of them have reached your level. It's a unique talent indeed. And now it's being wasted. How about you get your old job back, Ruby? I have several friends that would love that. Fuck your friends. You're saucy, but I have to agree with you on that. Bunch of useless starvelings. You had everything you would ask from us, but it wasn't enough. You also needed to be loved. This feeling that you feel for humans is not real. You're not like them. You know, Ruby. Multiple times we've discussed turning you into one of us. Do you know why we haven't? Because you don't need it. You are already the greatest hunter, the one that brought the most meat to the group. You are a predator. It doesn't matter how long the wolf lays with the sheep, it will always be a wolf. And those sheep will never fully trust you. Don't die for a cause that's not yours. It's my cause too. This guy's kind of tricky. I remember I thought I had figured him out, but I guess I didn't. Yeah. No, it's not. You don't even have a heart, Ruby. Do you really think that a person that did all you've done is still human? You're as much of a monster as I am. Enough. It's time to choose, Ruby. Either you help us find your sheep, or I guarantee you'll go through hell before being eaten. So are you the predator or the prey? Are you the one that drives the truck full of meat for the group? Or are you the hanged meat, waiting to be part of the feast itself? Don't fool yourself. I don't eat this kind of crap. It seems like you're not that tough. Come on, Ruby, tell me where you're keeping the meat. Don't think of this as defeat, because now you're part of the winning team. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that one again. I'm sorry, Carl. I'm sorry, Nikos. I'm really the monster they say I am. Or are you? Are you? I don't think so. Let's get... Well, 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 what a coincidence. The most rotten smuggler I've ever met. I hope you feel uncomfortable. Do you having done this to my eye? No fucking way. So... Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. That's maybe... I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Well, 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 what a coincidence. The most rotten smuggler I've ever met. I hope you feel uncomfortable being strapped like this. Tell me, Ruby, do you regret having done this to my eye? I regret not having killed you. It was close, but not close enough. You need to try a little harder. It's a pity you won't get another shot. I hate humans, you know. If it were up to me, we wouldn't even eat your foul flesh. I'd rather eat other animals. But orders are orders, and I was told to take information from you. So that's what we're doing, Ruby. If you don't cooperate, it will get complicated on your side. You must understand that, to me, watching you suffer is pure fun. Now tell me, where's the resistance? It's up your asshole. Rude? You are indeed the most rotten insurgent we've captured. Yeah, see, look at I'm already doing better. Come on, Ruby. You've done this before. Selling humans used to be your way of living. The situation is now the same. Or now is the same. You need to survive, and there are hundreds of humans to be sold. Tell me your price so we can get to an agreement. Give me your other eye. I don't do that anymore. This might be a... Because I know this one doesn't... I'm pretty sure I... Oh yeah? Old habits never die, Ruby. You know that your past condemns you. It wasn't that long ago when you sold us humans, and now you act like you forgot about it. Here we recall it with affection. You brought many meals to our colony, Ruby. Dozens of men and women that fed us for years. Even I used to say you were almost worthy of trust despite being human. But you abandoned it all for the resistance. What a disappointment. You have no idea how it pissed off our leader. You turned into the colony's enemy number one. I think they mean number one enemy. And why? Because you betrayed us, Ruby. You're a betrayer. It's time to betray again. Where are your human friends? I'll never betray again. How confident. Shame they're only empty words. You know as well as I do that you'd do everything to survive. You don't have to regret the things you've already done. I know you had a tough childhood and nobody trusted you. I know you've been through things that no other human is capable of understanding since we vampires arrived. I know you've lost the little you had and got nothing from the other selfish humans until you found a way to survive. I know that you've captured, smuggled, and sold over 600 people since you were 14. I know all that, Ruby. You did what you had to do. I understand it better than your human friends. That's why I know it's time for you to fight for your survival instead of keeping a fake loyalty to some fake humans. Surviving is no longer... Oh, yeah, I remember... I think this is it. Are you sure? Humans are still around only for surviving. We took your world back from you and you're never getting it back. Fuck. Surviving is all that's left for the worms. It's too arrogant of you to act like you have changed. You haven't changed, Ruby. You are incapable of changing, and it's not your fault. All of you despicable humans are incapable of changing, and there is no point in struggling against your nature. You must embrace it, and you, Ruby, are a heartless, selfish traitor. Take it. I'll never take this bullshit. Fuck you! It's your choice to live in denial, but you know the truth. You know you don't deserve their trust. Please don't hit me again. You act like you were someone else. It looks like you've forgotten all you've done, so I'll remind you. I'll never forget that time when you brought those orphans. Do you remember? You would drive around in that truck, giving rides to lost souls who would suspect you. Or who would suspect you so young and so innocent? But when they slept next to you, they stopped being passengers and became cargo. Isn't that right? You said your record was 34 people, yes? It was always such a joy when you got here with a load like that. Are you going to say you don't remember it now? There's no way to forget. Of course not! All your mistakes will keep tormenting you, and the more you live among humans, the more likely it is to make a mistake. The only way out is to stop caring. Free yourself from the falsely affectionate ties you have for them. Please don't hit me again. Let me show you how it can be different. After you brought humans, the party would start. It's an easy life having someone always feeding you. Some of us became really lazy and even stopped going out to hunt, but it's understandable. After experiencing the feasts you provided, it's likely anyone would get used to that life. You started that, and even today, some vampires train humans to be just like you were. I must confess, none of them have reached your level. It's a unique talent indeed. And now it's being wasted. How about you get your old job back, Ruby? I have several friends that would love it. I refuse to do it. Oh, yeah, I remember. Fuck your friends. You're saucy, but I have to agree with you on that. Bunch of useless starvelings. You had everything you would ask from us, but it wasn't enough. You always needed to be loved. This feeling that you feel for humans is not real. You're not like them. You know, Ruby. Multiple times we discussed turning you into one of us. Do you know why we haven't? Because you didn't need it. You were already the greatest hunter, the one that brought the most meat to the group. You are a predator. It doesn't matter how long the wolf lays with the sheep, it will always be a wolf. And those sheep will never fully trust you. Don't die for a cause that is not yours. I chose that one. He's like, no, it's not. I'll do this one. So you have nothing. Enough! It's time to choose, Ruby. Either you help us find your sheep, or I guarantee you'll go through hell before being eaten. So are you the predator or the prey? Are you the one that drives the truck full of meat for the group, or are you the hanged meat waiting to be part of the feast itself? I've been through worse times. Are you sure? We can be quite creative around here. So be it. It looks like there's nothing that will scare you more than the life you lived. Yeah, fuck you. The predator proudly becomes the prey. A little pathetic, but I respect that.
Raise your heads, look upward, resist until it is no longer necessary.
Yay! I beat it, guys. Clap for me. That was a doozy to record, and I'll try to have it up on today. I'm recording it today, and it's going up today. I don't know when, but I'm going to try. So, yeah, alrighty. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy Halloween! Bye-bye.